What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Ty here, back with another video, man. How's everybody doing today? If you are new here to the channel, welcome. If you are returning, what is good, baby? What's going on, man? Today I just wanted to really just bring this video to you. But before I get into the video, man, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, man. If you're new here, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button, man. You already know I got content for you. Anything from firearms related to menswear to lifestyle vlogs and, you know, just everyday life. So I want to be an inspiration. So if you find that fitting to what you're needing, then go ahead and subscribe, baby. But I'm gonna get into this video, man. Today we are talking about this. Today's a little video, man. I put together this list a while back ago, probably think back. I'm not quite for sure how long ago at this point, but I compiled this list because I think it's 12 things that I've been trying to like truly just live by. I think it's a list that I think that can be applicable to a lot of people now. And when I make these lists for you, I want to really just I want it to be universal. You know what I'm saying? Like, this list it could be applicable to anybody. Like I mentioned, it's useful. And I think that, do I do these things all the time? Of course not. I'm human. But I think that if me or anyone else takes these things seriously, then they can actually, you know, I think that they can really kind of go far. So I'm gonna go down this list, and I hope that everybody enjoys this video. Let me know, stick around to the end. Let me know, you know, I might have something for you to really just kind of something that you can really apply, make this a little bit easy for you to apply to your everyday life. So I want to make sure that you make it to the end of this video, so stick around. I'm not gonna waste too much time. Let's get into it. So the first things first on this list, you can apply this to a lot of things. What I mean by a lot of things is you can apply this to a lot of areas in your life as well, right? So first things first on this list, nobody can determine your value. I think that's so important, right? And I'm not going to get too long-winded in these descriptions in this list, but nobody can determine your value. Like, how big is that, right? So whether that's in a relationship with a woman or male, whether that is at your job, you know, a lot of times even at a job, you know, you're stuck at an hourly rate or whatever your salary or whatever you're doing, you know, nobody can determine your value. So when you're in that interview, you know, hype yourself up, you know what I'm saying? Like, really sell yourself. I mean, that could be in a lot of things, relationship, you know, really evaluate yourself and, you know, really look at yourself as far as what you bring to the table. So I think that is a big rule to live by and to just abide by. You know, nobody could determine your value. You determine your value, and then everything else will fall into place, and people will understand, like, okay, Ty is TJ, and they'll understand, you know, Ty, man, that dude's really bad. You know, he knows what he's worth. And I think that's so big. You know, I think a lot of times we sell ourselves short as far as not determining our value and not making ourselves more valuable. So I think that is a big key to life. Number two is even all these things. I know I'm gonna probably say this every single time, but number two is really important as well. Believe in yourself, because nobody else will. And I say that you could take that with a grain of salt, because I'm sure there's people who care about you and people who will obviously believe in you. But most times, you know, you tell somebody something that you're gonna do, you have a goal, you have a big dream. Most times they're gonna be like, really? Until they see it, they're not gonna believe it. So as long as you hone that deep down inside, then I think you'll be good. You know what I'm saying? So if you truly just believe it yourself, that's going to be the biggest thing. And I have to remind myself sometime of that as well. Like, yo, like, back to number one, like, you can't really determine my value, nor can you say, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't sit here and say that I'm not going to do that, or X, Y, and Z. You know, I believe that I'm going to do that. You may not believe that. You know what I'm saying? I know my value and I know what I'm going to do. So believe in yourself. You know, most times nobody else will. So whatever that big thing you're thinking of doing, or whatever you're trying to accomplish or achieve, you know, believe in yourself, you know, because if you don't believe in yourself, then nobody's going to believe in you. It's just going to trickle down. That's just how it works, so you got to believe in yourself first. So I want to say believe in yourself, and I think that'll take you a long way. All right, so number 3 on the list, baby, we making our way through this. Number 3 is big as well, of course, is self-examination is key. Now, it does take people to sometimes see things in yourself that you can't see. So take it for what you want. But one thing I try to always think about is self-examination. Like, what did I do in that situation, or what could I have done better in that situation? Whether it's, in a relationship, a family, or, significant other, or a situation at your job or in business, and, just an overall interaction, really examine every aspect of the encounter, really think about, what could you have done better, or how could I have approached it this way, or how could I have helped this person in this manner, so I think self-examination is key. If you really hold yourself accountable and really examine what you did or did not do, then I think that it will always keep things at the forefront of your mind as far as just wanting to be better. Because if you're always examining yourself, then, for one, you're always going to be focused on yourself, not in a selfish way, but to hopefully better others. And then you're not worried about others too. You're not in other people's business, because if you're examining yourself, then you ain't got no time to be examining other people. So I can get on a rant on that, but examination is key, so let's stick to it. Number 4 is big too. Number 4, learn from others' mistakes. Man, I have to constantly remind myself that as well. Kind of going with not really examining yourself, but just examining the situation as a whole. So in your friend group, at work, or just wherever, examine and really look at other people's mistakes. And it's not to bash on them, of course not, but truly observe what happened and try to obviously not go about it in the way that they did. Obviously there's some things that are going to be out of your control. There's nothing that we can do about certain things in certain situations. But if you look at, for instance, say one of your best buddies had a kid or something like that, where he did something, he got drunk and was out at the bar and kind of did something silly and caused X, Y, and Z, now you're in jail, blah blah blah. You get what I'm saying? Examine and learn from other people's mistakes. Like, hey, I'm not gonna do that, and I'm not gonna set myself up to do that, because most times certain things do happen. It's just a matter of time before something bad happens. So if you could take the necessary precaution and just examine what that person does on a day-to-day basis, those things might have led up to their unfortunate event. So if you could sit there and learn from other people's mistakes, I think that's big as well. So you can kind of steer away from some heartache and pain, and just some unfortunate things that could really ruin your life, or just ruin things for a short amount of time. Number 5 is obviously important too. Number 5 is big. Number 5, you choose how you react to situations. Okay, so you choose how you react to the person who kind of looked at you in a funny way, or the person who was crazy and driving on the road, and now you got road rage, and now you didn't, who knows, or you at the job and somebody was real rude, customer service, we know how it gets, or just somebody's at the office says something real slick to you, and then it kind of just made you look kind of crazy. You know how it is. So I think that how you react to certain things, life, your car kind of broke down, or you're just kind of things seem like they're just not going good. You choose how you react to every situation. We always tend to forget. I tend to forget. I'm like, man, I actually do have more power than what I'm allowing myself. Why am I allowing this other person to make me react in a certain way? Like, you don't have that power over me. I have power over me. So I have to sit there and realize that. So if you could realize that as well, then do it. Like actually really sit and be like, you know what, I'm not going to react in the way that you want me to react. I'm going to react in the way that I want to react. And sometimes it may be bad, and it may be maybe you do want to react in a negative way, or you're showing your anger, but most times you really have the power to react in a better, more sophisticated, smooth, calm way. So choose how you react. All right, number 6 on the list: hard work beats talent every time. So one thing in football that I learned, and just competing all the time when I was in high school and college, man, there's guys who just have raw talent, and you really cannot. It's just God-given. They just have God-given talent. They're just blessed, and unfortunately some people aren't blessed, and there's sometimes where there are limitations as far as what people can and cannot do. However, you can really work hard. Hard work, truly, the right hard work, truly can outwork talent. They said hard work beats talent when talent don't work. So, keep that in your mind. In any area that you're in right now, you can work harder than that person. You can figure out a way to be better and work harder. And I have to remind myself that too. At the gym, I don't really compete like that anymore, but it's like I can really outwork this person. You might be better than this naturally, but I can still work hard and be just as good, if not better than you, because of my hard work. So keep that in mind when you're going through your daily task and doing things that you see other people do and they do a little bit better than you. Don't let that shy you away from working hard. So you already know what it is. All right, so one thing that I really got to remind myself to, and to just not do, especially with the world of social media and just things that are always posted online and just you seeing everything, is don't compare yourself to others. So I had to really put that down on my list too. Like, don't compare yourself to others. Like, I have to sit and be like, don't compare myself. Like, everybody has their own speed at what they go. Everybody has their own route in which they take. So if I'm sitting here comparing myself, if I'm not, it kind of goes back to number 1. If I'm not examining, or if it goes back to one of the other, bullet points. If I'm not examining myself, then what am I doing? I'm examining somebody else. So I need to be examining myself. So I need to not compare myself. And, sometimes that can slow you down as well. It can really slow you down depending on which, speed you're going at. So if you're not comparing yourself, then you'll be straight most times. A lot of people get depressed, X, Y, and Z. There's a lot to it that goes with it as far as comparing yourself. So you gotta sit there and constantly remind, like, okay, cool that they got it going on. And there's nothing wrong with like looking at somebody and being like, okay, it's motivation. Like, okay, they got this, maybe I want this, and maybe I want to do it like them, or do something like them that might be to where I need to go too. It's all how you shape your mind. It's all how you kind of view it. So, but if you're looking at them like, dang, like, in an envious kind of jealousy way, then it's like, okay, well, why are you comparing yourself? But it's not always about, what others have. It's about what you have and how much of value, you make it, and, what you consider valuable, and what you stand for. So don't always get caught into that mode as far as like comparing yourself, because that could rob you of a lot of joy, and you don't want to do that. Life's too short for that. All right, so one thing I had to think about too, is far as even with this right here, like content and just pretty much life, everything's already been done. Number 8, don't reinvent the wheel. Everything is pretty much already been done under the sun. It's just done in a different way. But one thing that you can do is add your own flavor to it. So you add your own flavor to it, it's going to really make you stand apart. So if you add your own flavor to it, you'll really set yourself apart from others. You can take a little bit of this and a little bit of that, because everything's already been done. You can add a little bit of your own spice to it, make your own thing, and then people can really, see that you put a twist on it. I think that's very important as well, because, it kind of gets mundane and people keep doing the same thing. But, if you can really put yourself into it, because we're all unique, then you can really, I think that you can really make an impact on a group, and really people can see the difference as far as like what you're doing, and you'll make a difference when they see that. So number 9 on the list, we almost done, is the circle of influence. So who you're around, the circle of influence is important. So who you're around, either on a day-to-day basis or just from time to time, can really have an impact on you, good or bad. So I think it's always good to be conscious. Sometimes we hold on and hang around people. We don't want to cut them off because either they've been in our lives for a while or just kind of whatever, for some sentimental reason. Sometimes it's not always about the longevity of the relationship, but more the quality of it, and relationships as well, so if you're around a negative person around all the time, and just a negative partner, and they're around negative people too, or just people who just kind of throw the vibe off or something like that, you kind of really want to be mindful, and just really be mindful as far as who you're around, because it could either make you or break you. If you want to be a millionaire, you hang around a bunch of poor people, chances are you're probably not going to become a millionaire, but you know how it goes. But if you hang around people who are like-minded and want to kind of go-getters and want to go after life and take on goals and kind of just be courageous and resilient and relentless, then those are people you want to be around. You want to be around people who are winners. And it's not to say that you can't hang around people who are I guess quote unquote losers. Nobody's a loser, but you can always motivate those people as well. But I would just say be mindful of the people you're around and how much time you spend with them, whether it's good or bad. Number 10 on the list, I like to remind myself, is I take ownership of exactly where I'm at in this exact moment. One thing that is good to again, self-examination, to where you're at in your life, is take ownership of it. Whether you are working at a grocery store, fast food place, wherever, take ownership of it. Whether it is, you're just doing something that you're not really wanting to do, but you have plans for more, or not, take ownership of it. Whatever it is, take ownership of it. And where you're ever at in your exact moment, you may not be hitting the gym or not as healthy as you want to be right now. Take ownership of it. We have a choice, and I think that if you keep that mindset, if I keep that mindset, we keep this mindset and we take ownership of where we're at, we're always going to be holding ourselves accountable, and we're always going to be mindful. So I think that's very important to, know exactly and take ownership of where you're at. Number 11. We got one more after this. Number 11 is do not get too comfortable. I have fallen to this so many times, and we all do. We get comfortable in our jobs, our relationships, our bodies, our minds. We get comfortable. It's hard sometimes. I mean, who likes a bunch of change, right? It's hard, but if you just keep that mindset to not get too comfortable, you're not going to be thrown off if adversity hits. Life just kind of just has a way of, really kind of trying to tug on you real, sometimes real hard, sometimes harder than others, but if you don't get too comfortable and you're always willing to pivot, I think that's big. So I've been trying to keep that in my mind too. Like, don't get too comfortable, T. Things can change in an instant, so you gotta really kind of just keep your head on a swivel and not get too comfortable. Keep pushing. Life is meant to be uncomfortable, I think, sometimes, and if you get too comfortable, you can get knocked on your ass. So you don't want to do that. You want to I want to remind myself to not get comfortable, and just to be able to because you get too comfortable, you kind of stop growing too. So I think that it's good to just have that mindset to not get too comfortable. All right, we made it to the last one. This is number 12. There's no specific order, really. These things were just listed, and I think that number 12 is big because they're all big, but I don't know. This one just really resonates with me. Talk is cheap, right? Speak with actions. Just do it. Talk is literally cheap, man. You You can say a million things and just spin your words into gold and just make a woman, man, believe whatever you want them to believe. But until you actually walk the walk, it's cheap. It's cheap. You know the saying. You know the saying. They say money talks and bullshit walks. Money does talk too, but you get what I'm saying. It's like, talk that talk. Sure, you can talk that talk, but walk that walk. Like if somebody sees you doing something, take action, man. You know, like you could say a million different, and I have to hold myself to this. I've done this plenty of times. And as I'm getting older, I really want to be about my word. I could say something and I want to be about my word. Integrity. We could talk about integrity later. I actually have a video on that. I don't think I've posted yet. It's in my library, guys. So stick around. That video can come anytime. But I want to really just, because it's true, you know, you can sit there and say a million things and somebody can say something to you, but until they do it, it's like, wow, you know, they're just bullshit, man. And you don't want to be a bullshitter. You really want to be about your word, and you say something, do it. If you said to yourself that you are going to go to the gym 3 or 4 times a week, then take your butt to the gym 3 or 4 times a week. Do it. If you said that you're going to get something done for somebody, then do it. And we've all fallen short, and we all make mistakes, and we all are busy, and we all this and that and this and that. But be a doer. You feel me? So if you're not a doer, then what are you? You capping. You just cap. Don't cap. I mean, if you want to cap, then cool. But that's on you. So that's my list right there, y'all. I think if you can follow those 12 things, go back in the list if you want to, and really write these things down and write down what it means to you, because then it'll make it more personal. So if you made it this far, I think that this will help you. Write these things down and see how it's applicable to your life. You know, I challenge you to write these things down and, you know, see how you can incorporate them in your everyday life and how they are applicable to you. I try to live by these things, and I try to, you know, keep these things at the forefront of my mind, so I'm always progressing and always being better. I mean, that's what it's all about. We always want to be better. And, you know, if you really want to grow, you know, I think these things will really help you. And so that's all I really have for you. This list is 12 things that I think that you should do, 12 rules that I think that are solid to live by, you know what I'm saying, as far as personal growth and just being a better person. So if you guys enjoyed this video, I got more videos for you all in the future. And as always, this is your boy Ty. I'm out. Peace.